Hello, everyone. So before I explain why an engineer is here to talk with you today about art, let's do a few things together first. So first, I'd like you to take a moment to look down at the clothing that you're wearing today and pick out something that you notice. Perhaps it's a subtle color or a pattern. Maybe it's the shape of a wrinkle. Maybe it's the way that the fabric feels on your skin. Just take a quick mental note of that. Great. Second, take a moment, please, to think about something you're curious about. It can be something that you want to learn a little bit more about or something that you want to try. And make a note of that in your mind as well. And last, let's take a moment to play for a minute. We're going to play rock, paper, scissors. All right, and we're going to see who beats me. So when I say shoot, I want you to throw out your pick of rock, paper, or scissors. Okay? Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Beautiful. All right, who beat my rock with paper? Wow. Isn't it amazing that something as delicate as paper can be something as strong as a rock? Thank you for playing with me, and thank you for being curious with me, and thank you for paying attention with me. My name is Mione Plant. I'm a former engineer and now a professional artist. For decades, I believed that I was not creative. Maybe you've thought that about yourself at some point too. I now know that I was wrong. I am an artist. And today I'm here to convince you that you're an artist too. In fact, with the 3 activities that you just completed, I now have proof that you are. But first, why is it important to be an artist? Science shows that creative pursuits impact several areas of our lives, including our careers, our relationships, and our mental and physical health. It develops our self-esteem and confidence. It improves our attention span, our focus, our memory, and our patience. It can help us better solve problems. And it reduces our stress and increases the release of dopamine. And magically, it aids in neuroplasticity, the growth of new brain cells and neural pathways. We are not stuck. But even with these benefits, I'm not arguing that you quit your corporate job today and move to Marfa. Rather, I'm talking about what you can do right now with where you are and with what you have. James Clear says, becoming the best version of yourself requires you to upgrade and expand your identity. So first, you decide the type of person you want to be, and then you prove this new identity to yourself with incremental wins. For example, every time you make dinner, you're a chef, an artist of cooking. Every time you kick a ball with your child, you're an athlete, an artist of sports. And every time you sing in your car on the way to work, you're a musician, an artist of music. Eventually, you start selecting actions that further support this new identity. You sign up for the cooking class. You get up a little bit earlier to work out. You listen in on your kids' piano lesson, and then you practice alongside them. These gradual changes add up to a life that honors who we are, who we knew we were as a child, but slowly forgot. Today, I propose that you expand your identity to include that of artist. All right, so what if I asked you now to introduce yourself using this statement alone? Hello, my name is, and I'm an artist. For some reason, using this title of artist seems to create more self-doubt and feelings of imposter syndrome than any I've seen. But it doesn't have to be this way. The title of artist is not limited to those that show work in a gallery. Rather, artist is the most all-encompassing identity, and it's one we can all wear with conviction moving forward. I realize this may feel like a big claim, though, and you may not yet believe me. So I think it'd help if I back it up. I'll share the 3 most common objections I hear when I tell someone they're an artist, and then I'll try to diffuse each of these statements based on research and personal study that I've done over the past decade as I've slowly transitioned from engineer to artist. The first objection I hear when I tell someone they're an artist sounds something like, I couldn't draw a stick figure to save my life. Or maybe it sounds like, I don't have a creative bone in my body. Often we think to be an artist, I have to be a creative person. Well, what if you don't consider yourself creative? Creativity is defined as the power or the ability to create. To me, this sounds all about the output. But how do we get to that output? If we look closer at creativity, we will see a key layer underneath: curiosity. Curiosity is defined as the desire to investigate and learn. This is the input. To output creativity, we must first input curiosity. I think that it's time we replace the goal of being creative with the joy of being curious. Following our curiosities is much more approachable than following our passions. Many of us don't know what our passion is, and we don't need to know. Unlike passion, curiosities don't have to be grand or come with a guarantee that they'll last our entire lifetime. We can have more than one. We can abandon them if we want and try something else. We don't have to be good at it or know what we're doing. We simply listen for that curiosity and we explore it. So the next time you hear yourself say, I'm not creative, or I don't know what my passion is, try replacing it with, I am curious. You thought of something that you were curious about just a few moments ago. Artists like yourself, listen to those curiosities. The next objection that I hear when telling someone they're an artist sounds like, I'm a numbers person. I operate on the left side of my brain. Perhaps you've seen an image like this, comparing the left side of the brain with the right, the left being the more logical side and the right being the more creative side. We're told that we can pick one. But notice how the same person appears on both sides of the image. That's because research tells us people do not have dominant sides of the brain. We can actively use both sides. Logic and creativity are not at odds with one another. Complex math requires creativity, and complex art requires logic. The second key to being an artist is to pay attention to details. And I'd argue that those that have only considered themselves a numbers person are especially suited for noticing details. And it's something you each did moments ago when you observed something about your clothing. In my experience, inspiration is not found in the loud and grand and obvious things. They're found in the very subtle and quiet and small details. It requires us to use both sides of our brain available to each of us. Artists, like you, pay attention to details. And the third most common objection I hear when telling someone they're an artist sounds something like, I guess I do make some stuff, but it's not any good. Or, I'm not a professional. Or, well, I didn't come up with it, I just copied it off of Pinterest or YouTube. When it comes to something being good or not, try looking for something that you like and appreciate about your effort. I thought that the first painting I made as an adult was awful. I couldn't find anything that I liked about it. But then I looked over at the palette that I used to mix my colors, and it was beautiful. I ended up framing that instead. You can also ask yourself, did I try something that I didn't know how to do? That's good. Or did I improve upon my last attempt? That's very good. Did I finish it? Sheryl Sandberg says, done is better than perfect. To be good at something, we must first be willing to be bad at it. It's the playful pursuit, though, to continue on that makes the difference. And that feeling that we're not a professional, I propose the more important difference between being a hobbyist and a professional is not about if you made money off of your work, but if you shared it. Sharing our creative work takes courage. It can feel very scary and vulnerable, but it's this sharing that ups the collective positive energy of our world. You can start by sharing your work with a fellow curious person that gets the effort that you put in, or give it as a gift to a friend. Creativity begets creativity. And what about that feeling that we're just copying it from someone else? First, we may borrow ideas from others and mimic their approach, and that's okay. But over time, we began to tweak it and add our own perspective to it. No work is original. It's all a collaboration. We are in constant collaboration with our surroundings and with each other. Knowing this takes the pressure off of ourselves to be good, professional, or original. We start to become our own sources of validation. As Austin Kleon says, validation is for parking. We start giving ourselves permission to put productivity and perfectionism aside, at least for a moment, so we can play, just like you did in the game with me a few moments ago. Playing lets your inner child know that they are safe to come out of hiding. And with her, she will bring back your innate creativity, ready to be rediscovered. Playing is the third key to being an artist. Artists like yourself play. All artists have three traits in common: looking, listening, and playing. To believe you are an artist requires only that you make small, incremental gains in these areas. Looking means we pay attention to details. Listening means we listen for our curiosities and explore them. And playing, well, chances are if you love doing something as a child, it'll still bring joy to you today. Today, you looked, listened, and played. And today, you remembered that you are an artist. You always have been. Thank you.